What is GPT-5? That's the question a lot of people are asking right now. And on the surface, it sounds like the next version of ChatGPT. But once you start digging in, it becomes clear. GPT-5 is more than a simple upgrade. This model is being built to do things we've never seen from AI before. It's designed to reason through complex problems, follow conversations across massive amounts of information, and even adapt to how you like to think and communicate. One of the most talked about improvements is its ability to think more clearly. That might sound abstract, but it really matters. GPT-4 gave us quick answers. GPT-5 is being trained to work through problems step by step, like a really smart person thinking out loud, showing their process as they go. That kind of progress could make it way more helpful in fields like medicine, engineering, law, and science. And then there's memory, or what's technically called context. GPT-5 might be able to process and remember hours of conversation, entire books, long meetings, and keep track of every important detail. That means instead of starting from scratch every time, it can follow your thought process, stay consistent, and build on what it's already seen. What makes this even more powerful is the move toward multimodality. GPT-5 isn't just learning to read and write, it's being trained to understand images, maybe even audio and video. Imagine asking it to explain a photo, describe what's happening in a video, or help design something visual. All inside the same conversation, but there's something else going on too, and this part might be the most personal. GPT-5 is being designed to learn about you, your preferences, how you like to be helped, what you care about. Not in a one-size-fits-all way, but in a way that adjusts over time. So every interaction feels more natural, more useful, and more relevant. It's easy to focus on the features, the speed, the tools, the improvements, but the real story is what this means for everyday life. Whether it's helping a student learn faster, helping a doctor see something they missed, or helping someone solve a problem they couldn't tackle on their own, GPT-5 pushes us closer to AI that's not just capable. It's part of how we work and live. In this video, I'm going to walk you through what's coming, how it works, and what it could mean for the future of intelligence, both human and machine.
What people want to know is not where is this one, magic moment of we finished, but given that what looks like is going to happen is that the models are just going to get smarter and more capable and smarter and more capable and smarter and more capable on this long exponential. Different people will call it AGI at different points, but we all agree it's going to go way, way past that.
I don't think I'm going to be smarter than GPT-5, and I don't feel sad about it, because I think it just means that we'll be able to use it to do incredible things. And, we want more science to get done.
Okay, I've been following AI for a while now, and I thought I had a handle on how fast things were moving. But after hearing the latest details about GPT-5, I'm honestly not sure any of us are ready for what's coming. From everything we're hearing, GPT-5 is going to feel like we've jumped several years ahead overnight. I'm talking about huge leaps in reasoning, memory, speed, and personalization, to the point where using AI might actually start to feel like talking to someone who knows you and thinks better than you in some cases. One of the most exciting, and maybe a little terrifying parts, is how much better it's expected to be at reasoning. Right now, GPT-4 can give smart answers, but it's inconsistent. Sometimes it nails it, sometimes it fumbles. GPT-5 is being built to fix that. Sam Altman even said in a recent conversation with Bill Gates that they're working on making the AI think more like a really intelligent person, not just faster, smarter, more thoughtful, more reliable. That alone changes everything. And then there's the memory, or what's called the context window. GPT-4. Turbo can remember a ton already, but GPT-5 might double that or more. We're talking about it being able to read, understand, and respond to entire books, long videos, or huge blocks of code without losing track of what's happening. That's like giving the AI a photographic memory, and it never forgets a single detail. Imagine what that could do in a legal office, in film analysis, in coding, or even customer service. What really caught my attention, though, is the push toward personalization. This is where things get real. GPT-5 is supposed to remember your preferences, how you like information, what topics interest you, even your sense of humor. That means every interaction starts to feel more like you're talking to someone who actually knows you. That's not just convenient. It's the kind of thing that builds trust between humans and machines. And if it gets that right, it's a huge step forward. Oh, and it's not stopping at text. GPT-5 is expected to improve dramatically at understanding images, audio, and maybe even video. This thing is becoming multimodal. So now we're talking about an AI that can look at a picture, describe it, write a story about it, generate a new image based on it, and even answer follow-up questions, all in one session. That blows the door wide open on how we use AI at work, at school, and at home. I know it's easy to tune this stuff out when it sounds like science fiction, but this is very real, and it's coming fast. Whether we're ready for it or not, GPT-5 is going to change how we live, work, and think. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly what makes GPT-5 such a leap forward, the features you need to understand, and why I think this release might be one of the biggest technology moments of the decade.
Yeah, we're extremely excited for this. We've been working on it for a long time. The GPT series of models was amazing at sort of system one type thinking, for lack of a more nuanced word. But we knew what we really wanted was systems that could reason. And there's so much value if you can have AI that can reason through more complex problems. You saw a glimpse of that with the GPT-4 models, but o1 really is the first system that can do pretty advanced reasoning. If you give it a difficult programming challenge or a difficult math problem, a difficult science thing you need help with, you can really get pretty extraordinary results. And we believe this is going to unlock, over time, this will look as significant as the GPT series and unlock a huge set of new, very, very valuable use cases. Think of this as like we're at the GPT-2 stage of these new kind of reasoning models. And you will see it over the coming years go up to the GPT-4 equivalent. But even in the coming months, you'll see it get a lot better as we move from o1 preview to o1, which we shared some metrics for in our launch blog post. It's a very significant step forward. And I think one of the many fun things about these moments of new paradigms is that the improvement curve is really steep. Things that the model just can't solve right now, in a few months they'll be able to solve, a few months after that, be able to solve even more. Importantly, I think we're going to see a whole new set of ways to use these models. When we had GPT 3.5, it was in the API for a while, and then it was really the ChatGPT moment that made people use it a lot. And even then, it took people a while to figure out how to use ChatGPT, and it took us a while to build all the other features and add the things that people wanted. So I think we're that early with o1. There will be totally new ways to use it that are not just a chat interface. It'll take us a while to build those, and other people a while to build those. It'll also take users a while to figure out how to use it. And this is pretty different than the GPT models. We have these 5 levels of AI we talk about. The first was chatbots. The second, which we've just reached now, is reasoners. The third is agents. The fourth is sort of innovators, the ability to figure out new scientific information. And the fifth is full organizations. So this move from 1 to 2 took a while, but I think one of the most exciting things about 2 is that it enables level 3 relatively quickly after. And the agentic experiences that we expect this technology to eventually enable, I think will be quite impactful. Yeah, one of the things I believe is when you sit down in a meeting where you're talking about potential major partnership, you can kind of feel in the first few minutes if you really want to do it or not. And I very much felt that sitting down with you. I thought the sort of shared belief in what this new technology can do for customers, for people, and kind of just having, better experiences, better lives. The spirit of T-Mobile as an innovative experimental company, excited to jump in with us and figure it out together. That was great. The specific use cases that we talked about really improving the sort of customer experience, and sort of what this can mean for totally reimagining how customer support works. It was in your office up in Washington, and I was just like, immediately I remember leaving and being like, we're going to do this. I'm really excited. Like, let's go. We'll just throw our best people at it.
When it comes to Tesla's impressive growth, It's not just about observing from the sidelines. For Tesla bulls and those with a keen eye for uncovering the next stock market gem, Seeking Alpha is your one-stop shop, offering the latest on Tesla, Tesla stock price targets, Tesla innovation, and everything Elon Musk. Clicking on the affiliate links in the description and making a purchase may earn our channel a commission.
One of the many things that we're most excited about, excited about for this new generation of models, is what we can do for personalization for an individual user or customer, and also what we can do for integration, where these models will be able to look at a huge amount of data and use a huge amount of tools and access a huge amount of systems and deliver these hopefully fairly magical experiences. And so as we think about what's possible with IntensityX and this personalization integration coming together, we can dream out pretty far about what it's going to be like for a customer and the next best action. And we can even think further out to things we haven't focused on as much. But I was just watching backstage as you talked about all the amazing networking work, the network work that you're doing, and what I can imagine these models doing there. Yeah, I think this will be one of these things where no one ever wants to go back to the old way. No customer ever wants the old thing again. This is just going to be such a better experience. I think that should be a great fit for what these models can do. And as you mentioned, you have so much data. And I think these models are just so good at making sense of lots of data. So I think one thing that is not well understood by OpenAI is that we don't train our models on API customer data. So like that is your data, other customers' data, that's their data. We can do custom models for you with that data, or we can do, you can do like in-context learning and not even train the model more on the data. But it's not, this is not data that's like improving the base OpenAI models ever. First of all, thank you for saying that. It's a very nice compliment. We build on a gigantic amount of work that has come before us. And the field of AI is an old field that people have been contributing really brilliant ideas to for a long time. And more than that, if you think about all of the work that had to happen throughout human history to discover semiconductors and build chips and networks and these massive data centers, we're just doing our one little bit on the very top of that. But we try to do it as well as we can. And we try to have a very focused research program. I think one of the mistakes that other research programs make is they don't have enough conviction and a concentration. It's very easy to copy something once it works. So I think the two ways you can succeed are, say, we're going to be a great fast follower and we're going to just copy whatever OpenAI does or whatever somebody else does that works. And I don't mean that as negative as it came across, because I think there are a lot of companies that just wait to see what works and then do a very good job of polish and execution. But if you're trying to move the frontier, that's very difficult. And conviction and focus, I think, across a lot of people in a very complex environment, that's the best way forward. And so that's what we try to do. We say, okay, we really believe in deep learning. That's our bet. We really believe in a path from where we are to AGI and beyond, but we're willing to get corrected based off of things we learn along the way. And we're going to keep trying to do the next thing in front of us with as much firepower as we can and trust that over time that will compound. And that's really worked for us. And so that's our simple approach. Yeah, so first of all, it's one of our most important partnerships, but we hope it inspires a lot of other people to see really what you can do for customers with AI. I think this will be just a tremendous new landmark step forward. Healthcare is an area, as you mentioned, where I would expect greatness. I think most of the world, unfortunately, does not get access to great healthcare, and what these models can do for that. I'm really excited to see someone go build the best imaginable AI medical advisor and make that broadly available. I think that'll be a big step forward. Education's another area where we're seeing great stuff happen already today. Watching what people have done. I think O1 has only been out for 5 days or something, 6 days maybe. Watching what people have been doing with it is really remarkable. And what people used to do with GPT-4 also was pretty good. But if you imagine every student getting personalized tutoring best for them, along with the rest of their educational experience, I think that can be huge. An area that I am extremely personally excited for, that I think is still in the future, but we can now see glimpses of it, is AI helping us accelerate scientific discovery. I believe that most of the real sustainable economic growth in the world, life getting better for all of us, that comes very largely from scientific progress and technological progress. And if AI can accelerate that, if it can help us invent new stuff, cure diseases, come up with better energy sources, whatever, that'll be a huge win.
I mean, there is wide uncertainty, and there's also different definitions of what superintelligence is. Yes, 2 years ago, we thought we were on a pretty steep curve. I mean, we started OpenAI because we thought this was possible and maybe not that far away. And it has gone well, but we hoped it was going to go well. Like we believed in deep learning as this unbelievable new discovery of humanity, and we thought it could go here, and we had a duty to get it here and to make it go well and to broadly share the benefits. But yeah, we did think we could get here, and we still believe we can get here. It's not for sure. There's a ton of hard work, a ton of research and engineering still to do, but I think it's possible. And I think it's possible not super far in the future. I expect that in 2025, we will have systems that people look at, even people who are skeptical of current progress, and say, wow, I did not expect that. That does change what.
But do you know who else shares in pro-Tesla optimism? That would be today's sponsor, Seeking Alpha. Seeking Alpha is the best pro-Tesla news source on the internet. Click the affiliate link in the description below to get the latest Tesla offering, price targets, innovation, and everything Elon Musk. Link in the description for a very special offer.
Agents are the thing everyone is talking about, I think for good reason. You know, this idea that you can give an AI system a pretty complicated task, like a kind of task you give to a very smart human that takes a while to go off and do and use a bunch of tools and create something of value. That's the kind of thing I'd expect next year. And that's like a huge deal. We talk about that like, oh, you know, this thing is going to happen. But that's like, if that works as well as we hope it does, that can really transform things. I've always been struck by how much people love to speculate on, is there a wall, is scaling going to keep going, and like rather than just like look at the curve of progress and say, maybe I shouldn't bet against an exponential like that. In any case, we have a bunch of new great stuff. So we're doing this kind of fun thing for the holidays. We're doing 12 days of OpenAI starting tomorrow. But we're going to launch, we'll either launch something or do a demo every day for the next like 12 weekdays. And without saying too much about the thing for tomorrow, it is continued progress.
The RLHF, the post-training step, the little wrapper of things that, from a compute perspective, little wrapper of things that we do on top of the base model, even though it's a huge amount of work. Mm-hmm. That's really important, to say nothing of the product that we build around it. In some sense, like, we did have to do two things. We had to invent the underlying technology, and then we had to figure out how to make it into a product people would love, which is not just about the actual product work itself, but this whole other step of how you align it and make it useful. That was like a known difficult thing. Like, we knew we were going to have to scale it up. We had to go do two things that had like never been done before, that were both like, I would say, quite significant achievements. And then a lot of things like scaling it up that other companies have had to do before. People like most people don't need all the way to 128 most of the time, although, if we dream into the distant future, we'll have like way distant future, we'll have like context length of several billion. You will feed in all of your information, all of your history over time, and it'll just get to know you better and better, and that'll be great. For now, the way people use these models, they're not doing that. And, people sometimes post in a paper or, a significant fraction of a code repository or whatever. But most usage of the models is not using the long context most of the time. I saw this internet clip once. I'm going to get the numbers wrong, but it was like Bill Gates talking about the amount of memory on some early computer. Maybe it was 64K, maybe 640K, something like that. And most of it was used for the screen buffer. And he just couldn't imagine that the world would eventually need gigabytes of memory in a computer or terabytes of memory in a computer. Or you always do just need to like follow the exponential of technology, and we're going to we will find out how to use better technology. So I can't really imagine what it's like right now for context lengths to go out to the billions someday. And they might not literally go there, but effectively it'll feel like that. But I know we'll use it and really not want to go back once we have it. The thing that I find most interesting is not any particular use case that we can talk about those, but it's people who kind of like, this is mostly younger people, but people who use it as like their default start for any kind of knowledge work task.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that it can do a lot of things reasonably well. You can use GPT-V, you can use it to help you write code, you can use it to help you do search, you can use it to like edit a paper. The most interesting thing to me is the people who just use it as the start of their workflow. I think it's going to get a lot better with upcoming versions, but we'll have to continue to work on it, and we're not going to have it like all solved this year. I'm of two minds about that. I think people are like much more sophisticated users of technology than we often give them credit for. And people seem to really understand that GPT, any of these models hallucinate some of the time, and if it's mission critical, you got to check it. So I knew that like I wanted to do something with AI, but you got to like rewind to the mindset of 2015. It was clear that there was something interesting happening with deep learning, and it was clear that it got better with more scale, and nothing else was clear. Like, we didn't know what we were going to do. We started the OpenAI, and the very first day, I remember so clearly, we sat around the room like looking at each other one morning being like, okay, what now? We really had no idea what to do. We thought, let's do some research, let's come up with some papers, let's think of some ideas. Not only was like any product or revenue stream super far in our future, the idea of language models was super far in our future. The idea that we would like ever actually be able to make something people would want to use and was not just a paper that other people would implement was super far in our future. So if you start a for-profit, you have to like theoretically have some idea of what you're going to do to be a money-making entity someday. And our initial conception of OpenAI was, let's just be a research lab and see if we can get anything at all to work. And it took a long time to get anything at all to work. And then the stuff that we did get to work for a while has, other than good research that sort of pointed us to the next step on the path, has like nothing to do with what we did now. So, you know, we made like something that could play Dota 2. That's like very hard to build a business around. We made a robot hand that like barely could do a Rubik's Cube. But eventually, after like a lot of stumbling in the dark, we did figure out something that turned out to be a product and a real business. We also found that the direction of research that, you know, you don't get to like choose where the science goes, you kind of just have to follow it. And where we had to follow it turned out to require gigantic amounts of resources to keep pushing progress. And so we needed a business model to feed that too. Well, there's all these different evals that we could talk about. And
what's an eval?
Oh, like how we measure a model as we're training it after we've trained it, and say like, you know, how good is this at some set of tasks?
And also, just in a small tangent, thank you for sort of sourcing the evaluation process.
Yeah, I think that'll be really helpful.
Are you using OpenAI? If not, too bad, because a lot of people are. Millions of users are tapping into artificial intelligence to help with research, automate tasks, and build new tools. Now, the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, is talking about something that goes way beyond chatbots and coding assistants. He's talking about AI agents, autonomous systems that can make decisions, take action, and learn on their own. Let's break down what he said, why it matters, and how these agents could quietly flip the entire market upside down.
High level, what is GPT-4? How does it work, and what to you is most amazing about it?
It's a system that we'll look back at and say was a very early AI. And it's slow, it's buggy, it doesn't do a lot of things very well, but neither did the very earliest computers. And they still pointed a path to something that was going to be really important in our lives, even though it took a few decades to evolve.
Do you think this is a pivotal moment? Like out of all the versions of GPT 50 years from now, when they look back at an early system that was really kind of a leap, you know, in a Wikipedia page about the history of artificial intelligence, which of the GPTs would they put?
That is a good question. I sort of think of progress as this continual exponential. It's not like we could say here was the moment where AI went from not happening to happening. And I'd have a very hard time like pinpointing a single thing. I think it's this very continual curve. Will the history books write about GPT-1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 7? That's for them to decide. I don't really know. I think if I had to pick some moment from what we've seen so far, I'd sort of pick ChatGPT. It wasn't the underlying model that mattered. It was the usability of it, both the RLHF and the interface to it.
What is ChatGPT? What is RLHF? Reinforcement learning with human feedback. What was that little magic ingredient to the dish that made it so much more delicious?
So we trained these models on a lot of text data. And in that process, they learn the underlying something about the underlying representations of what's in here or in there. And they can do amazing things. But when you first play with that base model that we call it after you finish training, it can do very well on evals. It can pass tests. It can do a lot of, there's knowledge in there. But it's not very useful, or at least it's not easy to use, let's say. And RLHF is how we take some human feedback. The simplest version of this is show two outputs, ask which one is better than the other, which one the human raters prefer, and then feed that back into the model with reinforcement learning. And that process works remarkably well with, in my opinion, remarkably little data to make the model more useful. So RLHF is how we align the model to what humans want it to do. Maybe just because it's much easier to use. It's much easier to get what you want. You get it right more often the first time, and ease of use matters a lot, even if the base capability was there before.
And like a feeling like it understood the question you were asking, or like it feels like you're kind of on the same page.
It's trying to help you.
It's the feeling of alignment.
Yes.
I mean, that could be a more technical term for it. And you're saying that not much data is required for that. Not much human supervision is required for that.
To be fair, we understand the science of this part at a much earlier stage than we do the science of creating these large pre-trained models in the first place. But yes, less data, much less data.
That's so interesting. The science of human guidance. That's a very interesting science. And it's going to be a very important science to understand how to make it usable, how to make it wise, how to make it ethical, how to make it aligned in terms of all the kind of stuff we think about. And it matters which are the humans and what is the process of incorporating that human feedback, and what are you asking the humans? Is it two things? Are you asking them to rank things? What aspects are you asking the humans to focus in on? It's really fascinating. But what is the data set it's trained on? Can you kind of loosely speak to the enormity of this data set?
The pre-training data set?
The pre-training data set, I apologize.
We spend a huge amount of effort pulling that together from many different sources. There are open source databases of information. We get stuff via partnerships. There's things on the internet. It's a lot of our work is building a great data set. Yeah, I think one thing that is not that well understood about creation of this final product, like what it takes to make GPT-4, the version of it we actually ship out and that you get to use inside of ChatGPT, the number of pieces that have to all come together, and then we have to figure out either new ideas or just execute existing ideas really well at every stage of this pipeline. There's quite a lot that goes into it.
So there's a lot of problem solving. Like you've already said for GPT-4 in the blog post, and in general, there's already kind of a maturity that's happening on some of these steps, like being able to predict before doing the full training of how the model will behave.
Isn't that so remarkable, by the way, that there's like a law of science that lets you predict for these inputs, here's what's going to come out the other end. Like, here's the level of intelligence you can expect.
Is it close to a science, or is it still... because you said the word law and science, which are very ambitious terms.
Close to, I said.
Close to, right. Let's be accurate, yes.
I'll say it's way more scientific than I ever would have dared to imagine.
So you can really know the peculiar characteristics of the fully trained system from just a little bit of training.
Like any new branch of science, we're going to discover new things that don't fit the data and have to come up with better explanations. And, that is the ongoing process of discovery in science.
So
but with what we know now,
GPT-5 coming
even what we
out
had in that GPT-4 blog post, that's the honest answer. I think we should all just be in awe of how amazing it is that we can even predict
twice
this current
if
level.
it's this year.
Sam Altman just gave us a peek behind the curtain. And if you're paying
We will
attention, what he
release
said should give you chills.
An amazing model this year.
GPT-4,
I
he
don't know what we'll
admits,
call it.
is still kind of clunky.
So that goes to
It's
the
not
question
perfect,
of like what.
but that's exactly the
what's
point.
the way we release this
This
thing?
is the early version.
We'll release
and even now, it's capable of
over
passing
the
medical
coming months
exams, writing code,
many different
and
things.
mimicking human reasoning in ways that seemed
that'd be very
impossible
cool.
just a few years
I think
ago.
Before we talk about like a GPT-5 like model called that or not called that or a little bit worse or a little bit better than what you'd expect from a GPT-5, I think we have a lot of other important things to release first.
I don't know what to expect from GPT-5. You're making me nervous and excited. What are some of the biggest challenges and bottlenecks to overcome for whatever it ends up being called? But let's call it GPT-5. Just interesting to ask. Is it on the compute side? Is it on the technical side?
Always all of these. I was, what's the one big unlock? Is it a bigger computer? Is it like a new secret? Is it something else? It's all of these things together. Like the thing that OpenAI, I think, does really well.
There's been speculation that GPT-5 might not even exist, but now we know that's just not true. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, dropped a detailed roadmap on X that confirms GPT-5 is not only real, but it's coming soon. And this reveal has the tech world buzzing, especially Google. Altman said they're scrapping the confusing model picker and replacing it with a unified system that just works. GPT-5 will combine everything OpenAI's built: voice, canvas, deep research, tools, and use it all intelligently, depending on what you're doing. Free users will even get unlimited access to GPT-5 at a base level, while paid plans unlock higher intelligence tiers. That's a big deal. Why does this have Google panicking? Because OpenAI isn't just improving its tech, it's simplifying it in a way that's going to be hard to compete with. Meanwhile, models like DeepSeek are already showing up with strong performance at a fraction of the cost. OpenAI needed to strike back, and this roadmap shows they're doing it.
This is actually an original Ilya quote that I'm going to butcher, but it's something like, we multiply 200 medium-sized things together into one giant thing.
So there's this distributed constant innovation happening.
Yeah.
So even on the technical side, like
Especially on the technical side.
So like even like detailed approaches, like you do detailed aspects of every. How does that work with different disparate teams and so on? Like how do the medium-sized things become one whole giant transformer? How does this?
There's a few people who have to like think about putting the whole thing together, but a lot of people try to keep most of the picture in their head.
Oh, like the individual teams, individual contributors try to keep
At a high
picture.
level, yeah. I mean, you don't know exactly how every piece works, of course, but one thing I generally believe is that it's sometimes useful to zoom out and look at the entire map. And I think this is true for like a technical problem. I think this is true for like innovating in business. But things come together in surprising ways, and having an understanding of that whole picture, even if most of the time you're operating in the weeds in one area, pays off with surprising insights. In fact, one of the things that I used to have, and I think was super valuable, was I used to have like a good map of all of the frontier, or most of the frontiers in the tech industry. And I could sometimes see these connections or new things that were possible that if I were only, deep in one area, I wouldn't be able to like have the idea for, because I wouldn't have all the data. And I don't really have that much anymore. I'm like super deep now. But I know that it's a valuable thing.
So yeah, when is GPT-5 actually coming? Sam Altman's answer was, I don't know, but let's be real. We do know something big is on the way. He didn't deny GPT-5. In fact, the way he danced around the name kind of confirms it for me. He even said, we'll release an amazing model this year, and honestly, that sounds like GPT-5 to me. Or at least something even better. What's interesting is how he described the process. It's not just one breakthrough. It's hundreds of medium-sized innovations all coming together. That's wild. OpenAI isn't just waiting for one magic idea. They're constantly stacking improvements, testing, refining, and then stitching it all together. That approach feels way more powerful long-term than what most companies are doing. I really get the sense that GPT-5, or whatever they end up calling it, is close. And what excites me is that this isn't just an upgrade in power, it's a shift in how we interact with AI. If they actually pull off this unified intuitive system, it's going to completely change how we use these tools day to day.
Software?
Okay, sure. I mean, I think the whole industry is waiting with bated breath for the release of GPT-5. I guess it's been reported that it's launching sometime this summer, but that's a pretty big window. Can you narrow that down? I guess where are you in the release of GPT-5?
We take our time on releases of major new models, and I don't think I think it will be great when we do it, and I think we'll be thoughtful about how we do it. Like, we may release it in a different way than we've released previous models. Also, I don't even know if we'll call it GPT-5. What I will say is, a lot of people have noticed how much better GPT-4 has gotten since we've released it, and particularly over the last few months. Now, we are finding incredible efficiency gains, and that's really important. One of the cool thing that we launched today is obviously the voice mode, but maybe the most important thing is we were able to make this so efficient that we're able to serve it to free users. Like, best model in the world by a good amount, if you will look at that little thing, served to like anybody who wants to download ChatGPT for free. And it was a remarkable efficiency gain over GPT-4 and GPT-4 Turbo, and we have a lot more to gain there.
If we're going to compare GPT-4 to GPT-5, because you're at the cusp of this, you're actually seeing it at the forefront, what is the difference? Like, if I'm excited about GPT-5, what should I be excited about?
It's going to be smarter. There are all of these other things, we can talk about. It'll be better at these kind of tasks. It'll be multimodal. It'll be faster. Who knows what. But the thing that I think really matters is it's going to be smarter. And this is a bigger deal than it sounds, right? Because what makes these models so magical is that they're general. And so if it's a little bit better, if it's a little bit smarter, that means it's a little bit better at everything. And the thing that I think is most exciting is it's not like this model is going to get a little better at this task and not really better at these, or, it's not that. It's because we're going to make the model smarter. It's going to be better at everything across the board.
Google just dropped a surprise Gemini update that turns web app coding into a one-prompt magic trick weeks before I/O. Apple's secretly striking a deal to stuff that same AI into iPhones. Meanwhile, OpenAI is tearing up its corporate plans, slashing Microsoft's cut, and casually spending $3 billion to buy a coding startup. Google basically shouted surprise and pushed an early preview of Gemini 2.5 Pro, the I/O edition, out the door a couple of weeks ahead of schedule. People at Google's AI studio are already calling it the Web Dev Arena Champ because it jumped 147 ELO points over the previous build. That ELO thing is basically a popularity contest judged by humans on how nice and functional your generated web apps look, and the new score plants Gemini on top of the leaderboard. It's also flexing an 84.8% on the video MME benchmark, which measures how well a model actually understands what's happening in video clips instead of just pretending.
And while Sam Altman is out here playing it cool, you can tell Google is feeling the pressure. They've been moving fast, releasing Gemini 2.5 Pro right after GPT 4.5 came out. And to be fair, Gemini 2.5 Pro is impressive. It scored higher than GPT 4.5 in several reasoning benchmarks: math, coding, even in humanities' last exam, where it basically tripled GPT 4.5's score. It's free to use too, which makes it super accessible for businesses and devs. But here's the thing. I don't think this was just a regular product launch. It feels like a defensive move. They had to get something out before GPT-5 dropped. Because if OpenAI rolls out what Sam hinted at, this all-in-one, deeply integrated, intuitive system, then Gemini's moment might be short-lived. My gut says Google knows that. That's why they're cranking out these updates. But OpenAI's been stacking wins quietly, and when GPT-5 lands, whatever they end up calling it, it could push the whole industry forward in a way Gemini's still chasing.
With ChatGPT 4.1 just released and GPT-5 supposedly dropping in a couple of months, a lot of people are asking, which platform should I focus on? Should you jump to Gemini or stick with ChatGPT and then switch to GPT-5 when it launches? Now, GPT-5 isn't out yet, but we have plenty of hints about what it will be like. The main theme seems to be simplifying the user experience. Even the naming system is supposed to get an overhaul. No more endless model selectors. Sam Altman hinted on X, how about we fix our model naming by this summer? And the only real way to do that is to unite everything into a single model. Over time, OpenAI ended up with a bunch of different AI versions. Look at GPT-4. You've got different modes, different versions for coding or writing, plus experimental models like O3 or O1 for reasoning. It gets confusing. The plan for GPT-5 is to bundle all these improvements into one super-powered model. In Sam Altman's words, GPT-5 will integrate a lot of our technology, including O3, instead of rolling them out as standalone models. Every feature, from logical reasoning to image creation, should get a major upgrade.
So we don't know yet. We're optimistic, but we still have a lot of work to do on it. But I expect it to be a significant leap forward. A lot of the things that GPT-4 gets wrong, can't do much in the way of reasoning, sometimes just sort of totally goes off the rails and makes a dumb mistake, even like a 6-year-old would never make. I expect it to be much, much better in those ways and to be able to be used for a much wider variety of more helpful tasks.
GPT-5 is coming in the next weeks/months, and here's what you can expect from it. What will be referred to as GPT-5 will be a system that will integrate all of this tech, including their state-of-the-art O3 thinking model, into one focused experience where ChatGPT will figure out if you need a thinking model or not, if you need one application or another one by itself. This is not going to be a model router that will be deciding if you're going to be picking GPT-4o or O1 or O1 Pro. No, it's going to be a unified experience. Interesting. And when asked about the estimated time of arrival on these, he said weeks/months, which in my books means before summer, essentially. That'd be my guess, maybe even sometimes before April. Who knows?
Yeah, well, we're very excited about GPT-5. There are teams working on it as we speak, and I think it's going to be a fantastic new model when we get there. But in general, this is the year that ChatGPT goes from answering questions for you to doing things for you in the real world. So, by that I mean we launched a product earlier this year called Operator that can browse the web like a human and do things for you. When I think about the time I spend on the web, I bet 30 or 40% of the time that I'm browsing the web, it's not because I want to be doing what I'm doing. It's because I have to get something done. And there's some series of pages and forms I have to fill out and other things. I would love an AI to do that for me. I would absolutely love for an AI to fill out those forms for me so that I can concentrate on, either getting more work done or spending more time with my family. And this is the year when AI begins to do more things like that for you. And I'm very excited about that. It comes because of the advances that we're making with these reasoning models that are getting smarter and safer. And it comes with integrations into the sites that and use every day so that our models can understand them and can take action on your behalf.
And now we've got Kevin Weil confirming what we've all been expecting. GPT-5 is coming in 2025. But what really caught my attention wasn't just the confirmation. It was how he described what GPT-5 will actually do. This isn't just about answering questions anymore. This is the year ChatGPT starts doing things for you, like actually completing real-world tasks, browsing the web, filling out forms, booking stuff, clicking buttons, the boring stuff we waste time on every day. He mentioned their new product, Operator, which already knows how to browse like a human. That's wild. If GPT-5 builds on that, imagine giving your AI a task and just watching it get done while you focus on something else. That's not a small upgrade. That's a full-on shift in how we use the internet. Now compare that to Gemini 2.5 Pro. Yes, it's strong in reasoning, math, and coding benchmarks. And yeah, it's free. But Gemini still feels like a tool you use, not a system that acts for you. GPT-5, on the other hand, is heading toward true AI agents, systems that handle tasks, take initiative, and help us reclaim our time.
Gemini really does have all the same features ChatGPT offers, just built right in. Unlike simpler chatbots, Gemini 2.5 is a thinking model, meaning it goes through its own internal reasoning process before giving you an answer. That makes it great for complex stuff like riddles, tough concepts, or writing clean, correct code. Gemini 2.5 is also natively multimodal, which is just a fancy word of saying it can handle different kinds of input, not just text. You can throw a paragraph at it, or a picture, or even audio, and it will work with all of those. In fact, it's designed to process text, audio, images, and video as input. Compare that to ChatGPT, which still can't do videos at all.
People in college use it as an operating system. But this is going to be a very different world. And if you look at the progress from even before GPT-3, which Toby just mentioned, but GPT-2 in 2019, people tried it and said, this is like a dead-end direction. Scaled it up, GPT-3, people were like, oh, okay. GPT 3.5 was like finally usable. And GPT-4, people are building entire companies around. GPT 5, 6, and 7, I think will continue in future years on this trajectory of really increasing the utility they can provide. And this is like a big new exciting thing to have in the world.
So yeah, between Google trying to hold the line with Gemini and OpenAI quietly building something way more powerful behind the scenes, it really feels like we're on the edge of a major shift. GPT-5 isn't just a model update, it's a step toward AI that can work for us, not just talk to us. And when that drops, it's going to change how we use the internet, how we get things done, and honestly, how we live day to day. If Google's got something big at I/O, they better bring it. Because from everything we're seeing, OpenAI is about to set a whole new standard. Let me know what you think. Are you excited for GPT-5? Do you think Gemini has a shot? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading them. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more updates, and I'll see you in the next one.
So you guys may have noticed I snuck a peek back at the shelf a moment ago. I wasn't paying attention, but let's see if Gemini was. Hey, did you happen to catch the title of the white book that was on the shelf behind me?
The White Book is Atomic Habits by James Clear.
That is absolutely right. So let's try something harder. I keep losing my hotel key card. Do you know where I last left the card?
The hotel key card is to the right of the music record.
Great.
All right, I've been thinking about what Google just announced, and I don't think most people are fully catching it. They're calling it Android XR. At first glance, it just sounds like some new headset or smart glasses. But the more I listened, the more I realized this isn't about hardware. This is Google quietly stepping beyond the screen, not upgrading your phone, replacing it. We've lived inside rectangles for decades. Phones, laptops, TVs, it's all been screen-based. Google's saying that era's over. With Android XR, the goal is to move computing into your space. Glasses you wear all day. Headsets that let AI understand what you're looking at, what you're saying, even what you might want before you ask. And yeah, it's impressive. Gemini, their latest AI, isn't just part of the system. It is the system. It reacts, predicts, guides. You ask where to eat, it knows. You're watching a game, it explains the play. It's smooth, fast, probably going to feel like magic. But keep in mind, just because it feels natural doesn't mean it is harmless. Google's pushing this idea that headsets are for moments, and glasses are for your whole day. That's not just a design choice, that's a behavior shift. If this works, Google won't just be something you check. It'll be something that surrounds you, something that shapes how you see the world. And that changes everything. They've rebuilt Chrome for XR. They're relaunching YouTube with immersive formats. Developers are getting new tools to bring their apps into this environment. It's not a side project, it's a platform. A new default, and I get why they're doing it now. Gemini finally gives them the AI power that Glass never had. This time, the tech actually works. But the questions haven't gone away. If Gemini becomes your interface to the world, how much of that world is being filtered, nudged, predicted, without you even realizing it? I'm not saying it's all bad. There's a lot of potential here. But when the core of it, Gemini, stays in Google's hands, it's worth asking, how much control are we giving up for the convenience? So yeah, this looked like a product launch. but it feels more like Google trying to rewrite the rules of how we interact with reality. Let's break it down.
This AI is inherently multimodal, so it's using visual data and natural language to digest complex queries in real time while remembering your past context. Nishta, let's see some more.
Yeah, let's bring this book back. So I don't really have time to read it right now, but I wonder if Gemini might be able to help me summarize what's going on. Like, I don't know, what does this diagram mean? It looks complex.
This diagram is labeled the habit line and illustrates the process of habit formation. It shows how automaticity increases with repetitions until a habit is formed.
Okay.
Now, imagine being able to communicate and understand any language. The AI can shift its output to speak different languages with dialects and accents that feel human and natural.
Yeah, let's go to this sign over here. Can you translate this to English for me?
The sign states private property, no trespassing.
Okay, let's prove this is a live demo. Does anyone in the audience have a suggestion for a different language to translate to?
Farsi.
Farsi. We tried Farsi, it failed last time, but let's try it again.
Do you want to try Farsi? We could try it. Okay.
Because I do speak Farsi, so it's my mother tongue, so thank you.
Gemini, let's just give this a shot. Can you translate this sign to Farsi for us?
املاک خصوصی تجاوز نکنید.
Great. Awesome. It speaks Farsi.
That's amazing. So as Sharon mentioned, you all may have seen translation demos like this before, but what's new now is that in addition to just saying things in a different language, I can also speak to Gemini in another language. I know Hindi, so let's give this a shot. अच्छा, क्या आप मुझे बता सकते हो ये लोग अभी कैसे लग रहे हैं?
वे अभी एकाग्र और उत्साहित दिख रहे हैं.
So Gemini said you all look focused and excited, and it has a better accent than I do.
Why would you say now is the right moment to launch XR?
Yeah, so for pretty much the history of computing, we've been using the rectangular box of a screen display. Whether it's monitors, laptops, tablets, or phones, XR has the power to extend beyond those boundaries.
I think now is the perfect time to work on XR because you have a convergence of all these technologies, and Gemini is key to powering Android XR.
It's the first Android platform built entirely for the Gemini era, for both headsets and glasses. With advances in AI and an amazing ecosystem of device and developer partners, we believe the time for XR is now. We've been building Android XR hand in hand with Samsung, working on both software and hardware together.
But now, we are at a crossroad where the newest cutting-edge XR technology meets multimodal AI, which understand what you see and what you say. So you can just talk to your device as if you are talking to someone in the physical world. This is the next generation UI of XR. Imagine being immersed in a world that understands you and responds to your every interaction, whether through your hands, eyes, or voice. The time is now. Technology is here. With the Android XR, it is all coming together.
Let's not pretend the timing here is random. Google could have launched XR a year ago, or waited 2 more, but they chose now. Why? Because they finally have the one thing their early attempts lacked: a competent AI engine. That's what Gemini is. And that's why this is a platform revealed in disguise. When they talk about moving past the rectangular box of a screen, it sounds poetic, but underneath that line is an admission. Screen-based interfaces are maxed out. We've hit a saturation point. The next frontier is making them disappear. And the only way to do that is to shift the entire user experience away from screens and into space. It's a quiet attempt to redefine what Android means when it's no longer inside your phone.
We're getting started today with headsets. They're a great entry point for Android XR, and if you build for headsets, you'll be laying the foundation for other form factors that follow later. That will include glasses for Android XR. These will be designed for all-day wear. They're a natural form factor for AI, providing real-time helpful information when you need it. If you build for Android, you're already building for Android XR. Entertainment comes to life with YouTube and Google TV in totally immersive environments. Photo and video captured in 2D can be converted into a 3D memory for you to experience again and again with Google Photos. With Chrome on XR, you have an infinite, unbounded workspace.
And with Google's groundbreaking multimodal AI that understands context, we completely transform the meaning of natural interaction. The first device we designed for Android XR platform is the headset. We see headset as a great starting point because they have unique capabilities that unlock a whole new way to interact with the technology. I'm very excited to present the first device designed for Android XR. Codename Project Muhan. Muhan means infinity in Korean because XR will deliver unparalleled immersive experiences in a truly infinite space.
We're thrilled to show you live what it's like to experience Android XR and some of the capabilities of the platform. Hey Gemini, can you show me VR 180 videos of this place?
Sure, I can help with that.
We're incredibly excited for Gemini on Android XR that will power a new type of conversational multimodal experience.
Designed by Filippo Brunelleschi, it's one of the largest brick domes ever constructed and a masterpiece of Renaissance architecture.
Okay, this is amazing. I definitely have to visit here, but I want to find some restaurants nearby.
I'm sure we could find a place in New York. Maybe we could take the team here tonight if you're feeling seafood.
Hey Gemini, can you take me to this restaurant?
Sure, I can take you to the Clam in New York.
The underlying technology allows us to process inputs from all different kinds of signals, much like you process the real world.
The magical thing about XR is that it's moving computing to a place that's truly as natural as you can imagine it.
Android XR is our new platform for headsets and glasses. It offers some of the best tools for developers to use, and it reduces a lot of the friction.
What's quietly revolutionary here is the way Google frames XR as an environment, not a feature. By saying it can process signals like you process the real world, they're implying a system that listens, watches, and reacts constantly. That's omnipresence. The problem? No one's really asking for that. Google's betting that if they can make the interface seamless enough, if it just feels like magic, then we'll skip right over the privacy questions. But that assumption is risky. Passive interfaces don't just require trust. They demand it. And unless Gemini can prove that it's more than just another data-hungry observer, people may reject this vision before it even leaves beta. Still, if they pull it off, Android XR becomes the new default layer for everyday computing. Not because people asked for it, but because it just sort of showed up and worked.
Today, we're excited to launch the developer preview of the Android XR SDK. You'll have endless opportunities to create and develop for this computing platform, using familiar tools and open standards created for XR. For Android developers, we're extending the tools and frameworks like Android Studio and our Jetpack libraries to XR. And for Unity developers, we'll support Unity's editor and popular XR packages. You'll be able to share your apps the same way you always have as we open the Play Store to XR. Now, you're probably wondering, how does this all work with existing apps and games? They'll be available on Android XR out of the box, and your existing compatible apps can work without any additional effort. Our APIs, tools, and guidance for building for XR are available today.
As a developer, I'm thrilled to introduce YouTube on Android XR. We've redesigned our app from the ground up with immersive video formats, spatial audio, and a vast content library. XR opens up new ways to watch. YouTube leverages Android XR's unique capabilities to deliver an unparalleled immersive viewing experience. Users can enjoy both 2D and spatial content with support for pass-through and immersive environments. We're breaking content outside the rectangle and into the world around you.
We believe Android XR with Unity will drive a new era of XR adoption and experiences. Starting today, you'll have access to the public experimental version of Android XR to start building your apps and games in the Unity engine. We're taking our mixed reality tools and capabilities to the next level with Unity 6.
We've been in this space since Google Glass, and we have not stopped. Things like AR Core, the Geospatial API, Lens, Live View, Translate, and now Gemini.
We can take those experiences, which already work great, and find new ways to be helpful for people.
When we talk about headsets and glasses, we think about headsets as episodic products that you put on for a specific reason.
When you're watching the game, Gemini could break down everything about Freddy's Grand Slam.
Here's where things get especially strategic. Google reminds us they've been in this space since Google Glass, but they don't dwell on it. Why? Because Glass was a failure, but it was also a foundation. The tech didn't work, but the concept did. Fast forward a decade and every piece of that ecosystem, AR Core, Live View, Lens, is back. This time propped up by something Glass never had. AI that actually understands context. Then there's Gemini. It's not just plugging into XR, it is XR. When they say it can tell you about a baseball grand slam while you're watching it, it's predictive computing. The system is learning what to say before you ask. Whether that's helpful or unsettling depends on how deeply you trust Google to filter your reality.
6 years ago, we launched AR Core. Since then, you've amazed us with what you built on the world's largest AR platform, now on over 1 billion Android devices. You've reimagined how your users connect, watch, learn, play, and work. 2 years ago, we launched the AR Core Geospatial API, opening up new possibilities for large-scale location-anchored AR experiences. We've seen thousands of developers using this to create helpful and engaging journeys for their users, and we're taking the next step to build a unified platform for the future of XR. Today, we're excited to launch the developer preview of the Android XR SDK. You'll have endless opportunities to create and develop for this computing platform, using familiar tools and open standards created for XR. As a developer, I'm really excited about this.
I'm constantly in search of new technologies and new ways to entertain, inspire, and to tell stories, to create groundbreaking experiences for people. That's why I'm thrilled to announce our most exciting project to date, Asteroid. It's an immersive, interactive film app that's launching on Android XR.
As very early advocates for XR and the transition from 2D screens to spatial computing, we understand the unique challenges in building for these devices. We are thrilled that Spaces developers will now be able to seamlessly transition their apps to Android XR while continuing to support existing Snapdragon Spaces devices. We look forward to working with Google to extend Android XR platform to more OEM partners, leaders like Lynx, Sony, and XReal, all powered by Snapdragon, to achieve scale and reach its full potential.
Visceral incarnation of any 3D space or spatial environment you could think of.
I can't wait to spatialize old videos. It'll feel like you're right in your memories again.
And then we think about glasses as all-day products that you use to get value throughout your day.
Our technology really enables us to shrink down the displays that go into the glasses.
We'll see more of these highly portable devices that will more and more look like the ones I'm wearing right now.
This quietly draws a line in the sand between headsets and glasses, and it's more philosophical than it sounds. Headsets are opt-in. You wear them with intent. But glasses? Glasses are ambient, persistent. They don't interrupt your day, they live inside it. And that's the angle Google's really going for here. XR glasses aren't for escaping reality, they're for layering it. They're betting people will wear something that doesn't just show you information, but interprets the world for you. That's the future of perception. Even the throwaway line about spatializing old videos reveals a huge ambition: memory manipulation. If Gemini can reconstruct your past in immersive environments, what does that mean for how we experience history or trauma or nostalgia? They're psychological experiments.
With glasses, you'll feel like you're a local, no matter where you are.
There's no way we could build this platform other than collaborating very closely. We've been working with Samsung for a number of years, and so we look for opportunities where we could really marry each other's strength in creating something new.
This might seem minor, but it reveals everything about Google's design philosophy. When they talk about shrinking the displays and wanting devices that look like the ones I'm wearing now, they're framing invisibility as innovation. Think about it. Apple made a spectacle of Vision Pro. Google is trying to do the opposite. They want their XR system to vanish into your face. Not because it's modest, but because it's strategic. The less people notice the tech, the more naturally it embeds into routine. And once it's there, it's very hard to remove. Even their claim that glasses will help you feel like a local anywhere hints at a kind of algorithmic empathy. Your AI doesn't just speak the language. It interprets tone, reads signs, decodes culture. At least that's the dream. The problem is, dreams like that often come with surveillance.
From software and UX to hardware, cross-functional partners across both companies have worked seamlessly around the clock as one team to build a powerful XR platform.
We've learned that we can build the best platforms with an ecosystem of developers, designers, and device makers.
A lot of deep collaboration happens for us to bring the best solution to the ecosystem, to the platform, and to the users.
Alone, you can go fast, but together you can go far.
And the only way we'll get there is if we build this together.
And now we get to the alliance, the part Google always keeps quiet until they need scale. Samsung is the bridge to the mass market. If you want XR to work on a global level, you can't build it alone. And Google knows this. That's why they're showing their hand here. The language is careful, cross-functional, ecosystem, collaboration, but make no mistake, this is a supply chain moment. The XR platform they're describing is an infrastructure project, one that spans design, chipsets, sensors, and AI models that have to run seamlessly across devices made by different companies. But here's the real kicker. For all the talk of community and collaboration, what Google's building is closed. Gemini doesn't belong to the world. It belongs to Google. So even as they open source parts of Android XR, the brain behind it will always be theirs. So let's cut through the marketing. This wasn't an announcement about glasses. It was a reveal of Google's attempt to redefine the rules of engagement for computing itself. By combining spatial interfaces with Gemini, Google is trying to control the platform that mediates your entire day. From translation to memory, from navigation to behavior. What makes it unexpected is how quietly they dropped it. No flashy stage, no bombastic demos. Just a low-key rollout of something that, if it works, could turn your next pair of glasses into the most powerful and invisible computer you own. Whether that future is exciting or dystopian depends on how you feel about an AI system that watches, listens, and helps. All the time. Thanks for watching. If this breakdown helped you see the bigger picture, give it a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. We've got more deep dives coming soon.
One top executive from OpenAI says that they'd be interested in buying Google's Chrome browser if regulators make Google sell it. Well, that came out during testimony at Google's big antitrust trial. A judge already ruled last year that Google has a monopoly in online search and ads. Well, Google hasn't offered to sell Chrome, and they are planning to fight any ruling that forces them to.
Some mechanics around that on the Chrome side. Didn't seem like there was much of a bidder, but OpenAI wants to bid for that. I think that just shows you how these two companies are fighting for the consumer. That's the bid on Chrome. So, Karen, I think that there are opportunities to kind of spin these out.
OpenAI was first to raise their hand about, hey, we'll buy Chrome.
That made me crack up.
Let's hand the prior monopoly's most important asset to the new upcoming monopoly and let them
get even bigger. That would be the last possible thing that you would want to happen. All of distribution and all of identity are consolidated in a very small number of places. And you've even got people like Elon, who's a tech person, over there in the government trying to consolidate data systems, consolidate your social security records with your IRS records. They're basically trying to become another identity player in this game.
So here's the headline that caught everyone off guard. OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, says they'd be interested in buying Google Chrome if the government forces Google to sell it. Now let's pause for a second. This isn't some rumor or clickbait. This came straight from the courtroom. Nick Turley, OpenAI's head of product, made that statement while testifying on behalf of the US government in a major antitrust trial against Google. The case is focused on one thing: whether Google's control over online search is so extreme that it's choking out competition and innovation. And that's where Chrome comes in. Chrome isn't just a browser. It's the most used gateway to the internet, used by nearly 2/3 of all internet users. That's billions of people. And because it's tied directly to Google Search, Google Ads, YouTube, and their AI product Gemini, it's part of a much bigger ecosystem. Whoever controls Chrome doesn't just control a browser. They control access to the flow of information and, let's be real, a ton of money. That's why this move from OpenAI feels so bold. It's not just a casual interest, it's a signal. OpenAI wants to go from building the tools that live inside the internet to owning the front door itself. Now, to be fair, Google has no plans to sell. In fact, they've pushed back hard, saying they'll fight any ruling that tries to force them. But just the fact that Chrome is even being discussed as a possible asset to break off tells you how serious this trial is, and how real the threat is to Google's dominance. Now, from OpenAI's perspective, this makes perfect sense. Turley even admitted they reached out to Google last year to try and license their search technology for ChatGPT. They wanted to improve their responses by giving ChatGPT access to Google's index, but Google shut it down. So now OpenAI's thinking, if we can't partner with you, maybe we'll just take the whole browser when the chance comes. But here's where it gets tricky. Let's say Google is forced to sell. Are we solving the monopoly problem, or just handing it to another player? That's what some people are worried about. You're taking control away from a dominant search company and giving it to a dominant AI company. That's not exactly decentralizing power. It's just reshuffling it. Still, this tells us a lot about the direction OpenAI wants to go. This isn't just about answering questions better. It's about controlling how people access the internet in the first place. And if that doesn't make you rethink the future of tech, I don't know what will. But all of this leads to one big question. Why is Google even on trial in the first place? Why is the government trying to break them up? And what exactly did Google do that could put Chrome on the chopping block?
Federal judge ruled that it holds an illegal monopoly in some online advertising markets. Deirdre Bosa digging into what it means for the tech giant in today's Tech Check. Some more antitrust problems for Google.
More antitrust, and so you would be forgiven for losing track of all the different lawsuits and pressures that Google is facing. It is a lot. The latest ruling to come down, it centers on the ad tech case, and it opens the door for a forced breakup of Google's ad business, something regulators have been after for years. Now, ads, of course, still very much the bread and butter of Alphabet, making up some 75% of total revenue. So breaking up the ad tech stack, that represents a direct threat to the financial foundation of the company itself. Now, Google in a statement says, quote, "We disagree with the court's decision regarding our publisher tools. Publishers have many options and they choose Google because our ad tech tools are simple, affordable, and effective." But key here, this is now the second active case where U.S. courts could force Google to sell off key assets. Next week, the remedy trial gets underway in the online search case where the DOJ is pushing for a breakup of Google's Chrome browser, key to its ecosystem. Now, it's not just the U.S. coming for Google either. It's Europe, China, Japan. They have all opened up cases, making the pressure global and the stakes even higher. To be sure, it will take months, potentially years, for remedies or fines to flow through. But something we often talk about is that regulatory scrutiny, it diverts resources, talent, attention away from the core, like we saw Microsoft decades ago. And Google's core right now is a once-in-a-generation opportunity, artificial intelligence. Google is still seen as playing catch-up, and the race is only speeding up. A bright spot, perhaps, though, is that Google has notched a number of wins in recent months with Gemini and its different integrations. It doesn't seem like regulation has thrown off its focus quite yet. Valuation, though, that's another story. Google still holds the lowest earnings multiple of the Mag 7. Investors seeing regulatory threat as very real, and that makes an impact. In fact, tech is not getting any kind of regulatory break in the second Trump administration, as many had hoped. We talked about this last hour. FTC versus Meta, that's moving forward, threatening to split off Instagram and WhatsApp. Guys, the charm offensive from mega cap CEOs leading up to the second Trump administration.
The judge has given a partial ruling. So in some areas, yes, it says that Google has a monopoly in advertising tech markets, not in others. What is the language the judge used? What do we know?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Ed. The judge is finding that Google has violated the Sherman Antitrust Act, Section 2 of it specifically, by willfully, and this is the judge's words, acquiring and maintaining monopoly power in the open web display publisher ad server market and the open web display ad exchange market. So servers and exchanges are what they have found to violate antitrust laws here. And the judge goes on to say that the court is going to be setting a briefing schedule and a hearing date to determine the appropriate remedies for these antitrust violations. It becomes a question, of course, of what those remedies are, knowing that this is not the first antitrust difficulty that Alphabet is facing, as Google already was found in a separate case to have also monopolized the search market, and the Justice Department is looking for a spin-off of its Chrome browser, specifically in a case related to search. So it becomes a question of whether or not there may be advertising portions of Google's business that also will be looking at spinning off. If that is what the U.S. pursues, the judge is going to consider all avenues. But the point here, Ed, is this is a second big loss for Google in the courts, as they have been found to violate antitrust rules when it comes to ad exchanges and servers. The judge did not find justification of a monopoly for a third market of tools that is used by advertisers to buy display ads, but still on 2 out of 3, essentially, the judge has ruled against this giant technology company.
So after hearing that OpenAI might want to buy Chrome, you might be wondering, why is that even on the table? Why would Google ever have to give up something that important? The short answer? The US government is taking Google to court over monopoly power. Again. And this time, they're playing for keeps. Let's break it down. Right now, Google is at the center of not one, but 2 major antitrust cases. In one case, the Department of Justice is going after its advertising business, the backbone of Google's revenue. Ads account for roughly 75% of Alphabet's income, so any threat to that ecosystem is a direct hit to the company's financial core. A judge already ruled that Google holds an illegal monopoly in certain ad markets, specifically the display ad server and exchange systems. That alone would be enough to keep most companies on defense. But here's where it gets even bigger. The second case, the one we're focused on, targets Google's dominance in search and the tools it uses to maintain that dominance, like the Chrome browser. Think about it. Chrome isn't just how people browse the web, it's how they get to Google search. And Google has spent years locking in that position. They've made billion-dollar deals with Apple, Samsung, and others to ensure their search engine is the default. That's key because, as Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said under oath, defaults are everything. Most people never change them, so when the DOJ argues that Google is using Chrome to unfairly maintain control of the search market, it's not a fringe theory, it's strategy. Google controls the browser, they control the search, they control the ads that appear once you search. That's an entire funnel, and here's the kicker. A federal judge has already ruled that Google did violate antitrust law in search, just like it did in ads. We are now in the remedy phase, meaning the court isn't deciding if Google is guilty, it's deciding what to do about it. And that's how we got to this moment. The idea of forcing Google to sell Chrome as a remedy. Now, from Google's side, they're pushing back hard. Their attorneys say they won their place in the market fair and square, and they argue that forcing a breakup would hurt users, limit innovation, and even threaten America's tech leadership globally. They've also warned that it could force them to share private user data with competitors, something that opens up a whole new privacy debate. And they're not wrong to be worried, because it's not just the US anymore. Europe, Japan, and even China are lining up with similar cases. The pressure is global, and it's growing. But let's be honest, Google didn't get here by accident. When you have over 90% of the global search market, and when you're paying billions just to keep it that way, It's hard to argue that the playing field has been fair for smaller competitors. And now that we're in the AI era, the stakes are even higher. The DOJ is worried that Google could use its head start in AI through Gemini and deep integration into its products to push even further ahead and lock out competitors before they even get a chance.
Nice. The idea of seeing a robot interact with the world, there's not a person controlling it, yet it's doing all these things. That is the most exciting type of intelligence. I'm a PhD student at Georgia Tech. I work on problems at the intersection of computer vision and robotics, answering the question, how can humans teach robots how to do things by using data that has been captured from an egocentric perspective?
We are trying to use what we call human data. We capture how humans interact with the world, and that data gets used to train a robot. We can actually capture this kind of data with ARIA glasses.
It really checked the boxes, which is it's recording a front-facing RGB image, it's tracking your hands in 3D space, and it's localizing the glasses.
It actually captures the environment, builds a map, and knows precisely where the glass is at any given moment.
We have tried to make this an out-of-the-box solution. That means you can put them on, pair your glasses with the companion app, and start recording data right away without writing any code. We look at ARIA as an investment in the research community. What personally motivates me is to see the creativity of how these researchers are solving problems.
Oh, it's stuck. Let the people feel the pain of roboticists.
Yeah. Research partners give us feedback, and we can turn around new features pretty quickly. The most surprising thing was to see ARIA mounted on a robot, but I think it was quite genius.
Robotics is a real-time problem. Real-time recognition of behaviors and the surrounding environment is fundamental to robotics. ARIA is such a small form factor, we can just put it on the robot and have it directly control its own body by looking at the world through ARIA glasses.
Georgia Tech made use of the ARIA Client SDK, which allows them to directly stream data from the ARIA glasses to a machine that can then do inference with a trained model directly from the sensor stream.
This system is a really natural way to collect data that is useful for robotics. I think a lot of people were really excited about this because the promise of scale is much higher than anything else.
The more that the egocentric research community standardizes, the more researchers will be able to collaborate. It's really through scaling with the community like this, collectively we can start to solve bigger problems around how things are going to work in the future.
When more people can collect this kind of data without conscious effort, we can cover a broad range of scenarios and tasks. That type of diversity at such a rich sensor level is dream come true.
Meta's ARIA. Two glasses represent a leap toward a future where artificial intelligence is deeply embedded in the physical world. And with advancements like this, we're starting to see a pivotal moment in robotics, one that transcends the traditional limitations of how we think about machines. What we're seeing here is a fundamental shift in how machines will interact with the world around them. The concept of egocentric data collection is revolutionary because it's about creating a feedback loop where the machine learns to understand the world through human-like perspectives. It's almost as if we're teaching robots to see the world the way we do, tracking hand movements, localizing their position in space, and adapting to changing environments in real time. What's exciting here is that it's something we're beginning to implement today, with Meta's ARIA glasses already laying the groundwork. But what does this really mean for us? Well, the reality of it is that ARIA glasses are turning the tables on traditional robotics. Traditionally, we have robots that are reliant on predetermined programming, but now, with ARIA, we're seeing the beginning of truly autonomous machines. When you can capture the world through these glasses, creating a continuous stream of data that robots can immediately react to, you create an intelligence that's dynamic and responsive, not static. Take the example of Georgia Tech's collaboration using ARIA glasses. The way this data is streamed and then immediately processed by machines for real-time decision-making is key to the next generation of robotics. The traditional method of data collection in robotics was clunky and often too abstract. But now, with the Area system, we've reached a point where machines are getting smarter in real time, learning from their environment as it changes and making decisions on the fly. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The vision for these glasses isn't just to serve elite researchers. By designing this technology to be out-of-the-box ready, Meta has effectively opened the doors for anyone to contribute to this evolving ecosystem. This kind of accessibility and data collection is vital because it means the global research community can now play a part in refining and enhancing robotic capabilities. The more diverse the data, the more robust the model, and that in turn accelerates progress in real-world applications, from autonomous vehicles to industrial automation.
With Project Area, we reimagined a wearable device with a sensor suite that could perceive as you perceive, and in doing so enables the development of a new generation of artificial intelligence that has a better understanding of who you are and makes possible new advancements in robotics. Project Area, from the outset, was designed to begin a revolution around always-on, human-centric computing. We're excited to announce the next step in our journey, the second generation of Area glasses.
With Gen 2 glasses, we are building AI capabilities with a deeper understanding of the wearer's context and the environment.
Area Gen 2 is the perfect tool for researchers pushing the boundaries of AI and AR.
What you see here is the same as this. We have upgraded the sensor suite with additional computer vision camera for enhanced location and embodied tracking. We have increased battery capacity by over 40% without a weight increase. The device features a contact microphone and spatial microphones. It can distinguish between your voice and those of bystanders. Area Gen 2 determines your location, both indoors and outdoors. Advanced eye tracking camera tracks your gaze to understand what you're looking at, and tracks your hand to identify the object you interact with, all while monitoring your heart rate for a comprehensive understanding of your well-being.
To introduce the ability to process a lot of the signals on the device in real time.
As soon as you do that, you move away from the context of data collection and processing later.
Then we can start to interact with the user, not just research what might be possible, but actually experience it.
Help me pick up some red onions.
Taking you to red onions. Red onions are here.
Very important parts of Project Area has been building partnerships with companies and academic research labs that have reach far beyond our own.
We stay committed to research processes that safeguard personal information. The journey with second-gen Area glasses is just the beginning.
Imagine what the research community can achieve with a device that closes the gap between machine and human perception. Together, we can unlock an understanding of what it is to experience reality as we do.
We often think of technology as something that enhances our lives in obvious ways. Faster computers, sleeker phones, better entertainment. But there's another layer to innovation that we rarely stop to appreciate. The ways in which technology can fundamentally reshape how we experience the world, especially for those with disabilities. The Area Gen 2 glasses are a perfect example of this deeper impact. For individuals like Sharon Giovinazzo, who lost her vision at 31, this technology is restoring a sense of independence that most of us take for granted. Imagine for a moment losing your sight and the profound effect it has on your daily life. Beyond the obvious physical challenges, there's the loss of autonomy, the constant need for assistance, and the barriers that arise in what should be mundane tasks. Sharon's journey through the grocery store is a personal triumph of doing something so simple, yet so profound, doing it on her own terms. The Area Gen 2 glasses are bridging the gap between disability and ability in ways we've never seen before. And that's where the real power of this technology lies. The addition of spatial audio is a fundamental shift in how we think about location-based navigation. Traditional sound cues might tell you something is to your left or right, but spatial audio places the sound in a specific space, almost as if you're hearing the world the way it was meant to be heard, naturally and contextually. This is crucial because navigating a store, for someone with limited vision, is about knowing exactly where to go, feeling confident that the directions are accurate, and having the freedom to make independent choices. The Area glasses take something as simple as picking apples, something that most of us don't think twice about, and make it an exercise in empowerment. The glasses provide her with the information she needs in real time, from the variety of apples available to confirmation that she's holding the correct one.
A woman wearing glasses stands in front of the checkout counters in a grocery store holding a basket on her arm. Sharon Giovinazzo, CEO, Lighthouse for the Blind and Visually Impaired San Francisco.
You know, it's one of those things that you don't know what you got till it's gone. And that was kind of the case with my vision when I lost it at 31.
She navigates through the grocery store.
The challenges that we face, you know, just simply with visual navigation, you lose a level of independence with that.
She holds the leash of a service dog while walking towards an aisle. Karthik Mahadevan, CEO, Envision.
For a lot of the people who are blind and have a low vision, independence almost always meant access to information.
A pair of glasses separates to reveal each individual component.
ARIA enables us to combine technologies like artificial intelligence and spatial audio that make the visual world accessible for people who are blind or have a low vision. It was amazing to see how a lot of our feedback was incorporated in building a Gen 2 device, and also by keeping accessibility as one of the focus points.
Prince Gupta, Research Product Manager, Meta.
This is a truly collaborative effort between Envision, Lighthouse San Francisco, and Meta.
Prince and others gather around a laptop computer inside the grocery store.
We really want to go out and co-design with the community and try to learn from their experience. They actually want to try out these technologies. They're really excited.
Sharon and Prince speak to one another in the produce section.
Sharon has been testing these features, giving us early feedbacks. GPS just doesn't work indoors. We need a different mapping and navigation technology.
Owen Brimejoin, Research Scientist, Reality Labs Research, Meta.
Usually when you listen to sounds over headphones, they'll sound like they're inside your head. Spatial audio is a technology that lets you play sounds over headphones that seem like they're coming from a real location out in the world. And all you have to do is follow that sound.
Sharon walks through the grocery store wearing the glasses.
You put the glasses on and you just talk to it like you talk to a friend.
Hey, Meta, help me pick up some apples.
Certainly. Follow the sound to locate the apples in the store.
Sharon follows the sound.
It'll start playing a beacon sound from the location within the store.
The glasses can actually map as they are being used.
We can allocate different points and label it with items that should be there in that space.
Sharon approaches bins filled with apples.
Apples are here.
You can ask any kind of a question.
What apples are here?
They have Granny Smith, Cosmic Crisp, and Honey Crisp apples.
I'll get Granny Smith apples. Help me pick up red onions.
Taking you to red onions.
Sharon and her service dog walk towards the sound. They reach the onions.
Red onions are here.
Is this a red onion?
She holds up an onion in front of the glasses.
Yes, this is a red onion in your hand.
Just to have the freedom to walk into a grocery store and navigate to what I wanted. It was efficient. It was fast. It was just amazing. That's all I need today. Take me to the checkout counter?
Sure, guiding you to the checkout.
Sharon hands her basket to the employee at the checkout counter.
This isn't ready to ship out the door this second. But what's exciting is for how many people this appears to be working really well.
Without these partners, we would have not been able to do what we did today.
The employee hands Sharon her bag of groceries.
Thank you. Have a great day.
When we look at someone like Sharon pick the groceries that she wants on her own, that emotion is incredible.
And that's a wrap. It's incredible to see how these innovations are not just changing lives, but reshaping the way we think about independence and autonomy. The future is looking more inclusive, and it's exciting to witness these advancements firsthand. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share it with anyone who might be inspired by this breakthrough in tech. Make sure to subscribe to stay updated with more in-depth analyses and updates on the latest innovations shaping our world.
Project ARIA is a research effort built around the custom glasses you see here that is designed to record high-quality egocentric data, which in turn will enable researchers to advance the state-of-the-art around machine perception and personalized, contextually aware AI. Project ARIA is not in itself an AR device since it lacks a display, and it is neither a product nor a prototype of a product and will not be for sale. It is a research tool, and it is a critical step on the path to live maps and the interface of the future. One way to think about Project Aria is as an evolution of the methods which were used to build maps in the past. Since the 1960s, satellites have allowed us to map outdoor environments at tremendous scale, but they're limited in the map resolution and freshness they can produce. Low-flying aircraft and car fleets provided data capture at a higher resolution with increased update rates, but they're limited to outdoor environments. Backpack rigs can now map indoor spaces at high resolution, but are unable to fully capture the wide range of environments relevant to our daily lives. Project Aria is the vanguard of the next leap in data capture technology, client-based mapping, which will one day enable anyone with an AR device to build and use live maps wherever and whenever they need to, based on data from their own devices, particularly AR glasses. The use of egocentric data will make it possible to construct higher resolution maps that are dynamically updated at a much higher frequency, and will enable mapping of a far greater spectrum of environments than has been possible with any previous mapping technology. In addition to enabling state-of-the-art research into map building, Project Aria will let researchers explore what data AR glasses will need to capture in actual use, and how AI can most usefully leverage that data to provide personalized assistance. Let's take a look at each component of Project Aria in closer detail. At its heart, Project Aria is an all-day wearable computer and sensor platform with a powerful mobile-class processor, all wrapped up in an ergonomic glasses form factor weighing under 70 grams. The device is controlled by the wearer using a mobile companion app, which communicates via an encrypted low-energy Bluetooth link. As Boz noted, once a data sequence has been recorded and the device is placed on charge, data is uploaded to Facebook's research servers and kept in quarantine, meaning it's not made available to researchers. During the quarantine period, participants can delete segments of captured data from the system without accessing the raw data.
Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one, where we continue to explore the technologies that are truly changing the game.